baby. Listen, Doll, we've been all through this. I either stop Bodie right now legally by going and testifying before the Senate Crime Committee, or I'll let him force me out of business.
But, Harry, those threats he made, he'd do anything to stop you.
He'll be arrested before he ever finds out I went to Washington. Leave the station wagon at the airport garage so you won't have to pick me up when I get back.
Promise me you'll call me the minute you get in.
Don't I always, Doll? Bye, baby.
Goodbye.
Conklin, president of the Conklin Trucking Company, had been brutally murdered. Within minutes of the explosion, our department was alerted to cooperate in finding Conklin's killer. My name is Frank Ballinger, Detective Lieutenant, M Squad, a special detail of the Chicago Police. At the Conklin home, Captain Gray and I were met by the dead man's sister-in-law and executive secretary, Ruth Webster.
Harry was on his way to testify at a secret Senate Crime Committee hearing.
Testify about what?
Well, we've been having a lot of trouble with our business. Trucks breaking down, drivers being beaten, shipments broken into.
Well, did Conklin think that Bodie is behind all of this?
Martin Bodie's been after our business for a long time, to add to his local trucking company. He had a couple meetings with Harry. He made threats.
Where do these meetings take place? At your office?
No, he met here.
Was there anybody else present at those meetings besides Bodie?
Well, I think Martha... I really don't know.
Well, you just mentioned your sister's name. Was she present?
Leave her alone. She's broken up about Harry. The doctor's with her now.
Miss Webster, we have...
Please leave her alone. She can't do anything now.
Well, she might have heard Bodie make some threats that we could use as evidence.
Martha, it's rare I'd seen Harry lose the business and then to fight anybody as tough as Bodie.
And she might want to help us prove that Bodie killed her husband.
What good would that do? Would it bring Harry back? Look, the business is finished. We don't have enough money to finish out the month. There's nothing left for Martha. Leave her alone. She won't help you now.
No, Ruth. I will help.
Martha. You should be in bed.
You're the police?
I'm Captain Gray, Lieutenant Ballas. How are you?
I heard what you said about helping you. I want to help. I want to make Bodie pay for what he did to Harry.
You don't know what you're saying. You can't do anything.
I can testify. In Harry's place, I heard Bodie threaten him.
Do you think you have a chance against him? He'd catch you the way you got Harry.
We'll give you round-the-clock protection as long as it's needed.
Do you think that would stop Bodie? Harry's trip was top secret. And how far did he get? Not even to the airport. We only have each other now, Martha. Please don't do it.
I loved Harry more than anything in the world. He'd want me to do this. I'm going to notify the committee. I'll take Harry's place. After the funeral, I'll fly to Washington and testify against Bodie.
Mrs. Conklin's doctor said that she wouldn't be well enough to go to Washington for at least 3 days. Meanwhile, we prowled the neighborhood. We talked to everyone within a 4-block radius who might have seen any suspicious persons the morning of the bombing. On the second day, I found a milkman who said he'd seen a car stop a block away from the Conklin house just before 7. The driver of the car had walked towards the alley which led behind the Conklins. I spent the third day checking the office employees of the Conklin Trucking Company.
Hi, Frank. Did you get anything?
I checked most of the employees over at Conklin's. A couple of minor offenders, but nothing important.
You talked to any of those trucking company people Bodie bought out?
Pretty much the same general pattern. There were enough accidents to make them want to get out. And they all seem scared.
Well, you won't get any lead off this bomb residue. Here's the lab report, nothing.
You know what I'd like to do?
What?
I'd like to talk to Bodie.
Can't get any place with that, Frank. You've got nothing to go on but the suspicions of the Conklins.
Well, I know that, but I'd just like to see what a little needling can do.
All right, but don't take too long about it, huh?
Tough about Conklin, Lieutenant. Getting cut down like that. Right in the prime.
Well, try not to cry, Bodie. You might get your shirt wet.
Now, look, Bellinger. What do you want to talk like that for?
You're out to get Conklin's trucking line. We both know that.
Out to get it. What does that mean? We're competitors, like in any business.
Beatings, freak truck accidents, you call that competition?
You cops. Every time a guy has some bad luck, you blame me. Why?
Just look at the record. 4 trucking companies having the same bad luck. When they couldn't take it anymore, you bought them out for peanuts.
Really? Is that what I do?
Yeah. Only Conklin wouldn't sell. Then you threatened him. That's where you made your mistake, Bodie. That's when he decided to go to Washington to testify. So smart boy Bodie has him killed.
Get out of here! Beat it! You two! Get out of here! There. $5,000. Prove I killed Conklin and you can keep it. How about that, cop? Almost a year's salary if you can prove it.
You better save it, Bodie. You'll need that and plenty more to pay for your lawyers.
Okay, you had your say. Now get out.
Just one for the record. Where were you yesterday morning at 7?
In bed. Asleep. Ask my housekeeper. Better yet, don't ask him. Put me under arrest. Go on, arrest me. You've been talking big. Show me you mean it. Come on. Put me under arrest.
Oh, I will. When I find out how you found out that Conklin was going to Washington to testify. Then he gets in the car and boom. And that's just how hard I'm going to hit you, Bodie.
Get out of here, cop. You're stinking up the joint. And don't you come back unless you got a warrant.
That's a promise. On the way back to headquarters, I received a call from Captain Gray. Mrs. Conklin was ready to leave for Washington. The captain asked me to meet him in her house.
Martha's always depended on me. Would it be all right if I went with her?
I think so.
Well, hello, Mrs. Conklin. You all set?
Martha, I'm going with you. Captain Gray said it's all right.
Ruth, I'm so glad.
I'll get my things. I'll be right back. Excuse me.
Sir. Well, try not to worry, Mrs. Conklin. We'll escort you to the airport, and the FBI will take it from there.
Hello?
Hi, doll. It's Harry, baby. I told you I'd call. I'm in Washington.
Harry!
Hello! Hello!
It was Harry's voice. I know it was.
Martha, you're just upsetting yourself.
Hi, doll. He said, it's Harry, baby. I told you I'd call. I'm in Washington.
Mrs. Conklin, that wasn't your husband who made the phone call.
It was. It was. Don't try to tell me it wasn't.
Mrs. Conklin, your husband is dead. He died 3 days ago. You know that.
No. He's alive. I heard him.
I think you'd better call her doctor.
I'll get her to bed first. Come on, Martha.
Ruth, it was him. It was.
Yes, dear. Everything's going to be all right.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
They must have pre-recorded some of his earlier phone calls, and now they're playing them back to her.
Of course. He's been in Washington on business 3 times in the last year.
Yeah.
Well, the timing's what gets me. The call came just in time to keep her from leaving. But how did they know?
Maybe they have a tap on the phone.
It's possible.
Without telling Mrs. Conklin or her sister, we put a 24-hour watch on the Conklin house. We also had a technician check the phone lines. If there had been a tap on the Conklin phone, there wasn't one now. We installed a monitor box in Captain Gray's office. If Mrs. Conklin received any more calls from her dead husband, we could trace them to the source within 2 minutes.
That a list of Conklin's truck drivers?
Yeah, there's one of them there, Nick Anson. He's been with the company 8 years. He's got a record. 2 drunken disorderlies, and he was involved in 3 of those accidents. Here's a picture of him.
Oh, I don't know, Frank. This could be a coincidence.
Huh?
Maybe you could get this guy to talk.
Maybe.
It's worth a try.
Okay, I'll give it a whirl. Was across the street from the truck terminal. I hung around, hoping to pick up some information or to run into Nick Anson. Late the second afternoon, he showed up. From the looks of him, he'd already had a few somewhere else.
Charlie, draw one. Clumsy goon.
I'm sorry,
Oh, you splashed me all over.
What about me, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll get you another one, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Charlie, 2 more, huh?
You're new around here, ain't you?
Yeah, I just started yesterday with this, Eller's outfit.
Night run?
What else? There we go. Hey, you with that, Conklin outfit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This guy was reading the newspapers. Too bad what happened to him, man. That was murder, huh?
You just don't know. Harry Conklin was the best.
You know, I was talking to a couple of the guys, and they told me that this Conklin outfit's going broke.
Maybe. One thing, if anybody will pull it through, Miss Ruth will do it.
Miss Ruth?
Ruth Webster, his sister-in-law. Great little woman.
You're okay, Nick. You know, this Miss Ruth, she sounds like a real wonderful person.
Conklin's right hand all the way, in spite of what he did to her.
What he did to her?
Oh, sure. They was going to be married about 5 years back, so along come her sister from someplace down south, and bingo, he goes for the younger one, and they get hitched.
Don't we all? Yeah, how about another beer, huh?
Nice of you, pal.
Hey, Charlie.
But she stuck with him, eating her heart out, but loyal.
Is that so?
I got a girlfriend works in the office. She told me one time, last year, she heard Miss Webster and Conklin in a big brawl. She was giving him last chance to divorce his wife. He walked out. She cried, poor kid.
You know what some women go through for love, huh? I might be going. Well, I'll see you sometime next
Well,
time.
thanks for the beer.
Oh, my pleasure. I'll see you again.
Webster, her own sister?
Kind of tough to take, huh?
Sure is. Could be the answer, though. The phone taps, tape recordings, the whole thing.
Sure. But Miss Webster's much too smart to let us tie her in with Bodie.
Yeah, if she's involved with him.
It's a simple motive. A vindictive woman. She wants to hurt Conklin, so she joins Bodie ruin Conklin.
What if a doctor said Mrs. Conklin was able to go to Washington to testify?
In their hand to be forced, they'd have to make a move.
Right. Let's put a tail on Ruth Webster and see what happens.
Things started clicking. 3 minutes after the doctor phoned Mrs. Conklin, her sister left the house. She drove to a nearby gas station and made a quick call from a payphone. Then she drove back to the Conklin house. Captain Gray and I waited, but 4 hours passed and nothing more happened.
Oh, no, Ruth. I couldn't bear to eat anything.
Now, look, honey, you have to keep your strength up if you're going to Washington tomorrow.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, doll. I'll be home soon. Got some news for you. And save me some of that good beef stew. I'm on my way.
Come on, Jim. Trace it. Oh, I see. All right. I didn't have enough time.
It was Harry's voice. But it couldn't be Harry. It couldn't be. Save me some beef stew, he said.
Beef stew?
We think it's the only way we can trap your husband's killer.
I understand.
All right, now just what do you do when the phone rings?
I wait. 2 full rings. Then I answer.
But it must be 2 full rings, otherwise we can't cut in.
I don't think I can stand listening to them much longer.
Well, who knows? Maybe the next phone call will be the last.
I'll keep that thought in mind.
Please do, and thank you very much, Mrs. Conklin. I wanted to cut off the phone, but she wouldn't let me do it. She begged and pleaded. She's still expecting a phone call from her husband. She still thinks he's coming home from Washington.
Yeah. Well, I just talked to the city psychiatrist. He says if she gets any more of those phone calls, it could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
You better stick close to her for a while.
I will.
And we better get back to the office.
I'll see you out.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're quiet, Martha. After last night, I was afraid that, well, maybe you might be a little bit more overwrought.
I'm all right.
Of course you are. I have an idea. Why don't I comb your hair for you and get you all prettied up?
Prettied up? What for?
Well, Harry's coming home soon, isn't he?
What are you talking about?
Didn't you tell Lieutenant Ballinger that Harry was on his way home from Washington? I bet the plane's landed and...
Stop it! For heaven's sake, Ruth, isn't it bad enough that I have to go through this act?
Act? What are you talking about, honey?
Don't torment me. I know Harry's dead. That those calls are only tape recordings. The police want me to pretend that I'm...
Police? Pretend what?
So that more calls will come in. Don't you see? They'll be able to trace them. Don't be offended because I didn't tell you before. I promised them that I wouldn't...
Don't answer that.
Don't answer it.
Let it ring. Don't answer it.
Ruth, I don't understand you.
Martha, I warn you. Leave that phone alone.
Ruth, what's gotten into you? This is the only way we can get to the man who killed Harry. I've got to answer it. Hello?
Hi, doll. Everything okay at home?
Harry?
Guess what, honey? We're going to take a vacation. Just the two of us. The minute I get this business finished, we're taking off. Wait for me, honey. I'll see you soon.
Yeah. She left the house? All right, don't lose her. We'll be in contact. Well, looks like Martha Conklin did exactly what you told her. Ruth Webster just left the house in a big hurry. Clancy's following her. Looks like she's headed for Bodie's place.
Okay, thanks. Here's the address those phone calls were coming from.
Right, I'll take some men and pick them up.
I made contact with Clancy as he followed Ruth across town. She seemed to be heading straight for Bodie's office. I told Clancy to let her get inside and for him to wait. I'd be there as fast as I could.
You've got to tell him to get out of there. I tell you, the police are tracing the calls.
If they traced him, it's too late. I'm certainly not going to phone now and let them tie me up with it.
But they'll get back to us.
Who says? What witnesses have they got? Don't go to pieces on me now.
Hello, Bodie.
What do you want?
Same thing as last time, Conklin's murder. And this about wraps it up. Thank you, Miss Ruth.
What are you talking about, Ballinger? You mean because Miss Webster's here with me? I asked her to come here, didn't I, Miss Webster? We've been talking over a deal about me taking over the Conklin Company. I have the papers right here.
Just keep your hands on top of the desk. I'll answer. Keep your hands on top of the desk. Hello? Oh, yes, Captain. Everything go okay?
Frank, can I talk?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
We got the guy running the tape machine.
Oh, you did, huh? Good. You finally got him. Leo Jackman? One of Bodie's men, huh?
Won't do you any good, though. We shot it out. He's dead.
Oh, he did, huh? He can prove that Ruth was in on this with Bodie? Oh, they hired him to set the bomb.
That's a lie. I didn't know he was going to kill Harry. I only wanted to break him. He wanted to kill, not me.
Frank, what happened? Frank, answer me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm all right. You better send an ambulance over for Bodie, though. He can use one bad. Right.
Oh, Harry.
Martin Bodie was executed for Harry Conklin's murder. Ruth Webster was convicted as an accessory and is serving a long prison term. Martha has forgiven her because she had what Ruth needed, love and courage. Martha's still living in Chicago, running the trucking company, and doing it very well.